So that's how nervous Thor is because of a hammer. He just called out in a low voice for a long time. But Mjolnir, the hammer of Thor, was still in the hands of its new master. No one expected that the next second, even when he met Thor again on the battlefield, this hammer suddenly stopped and quickly retreated, then fell into the hands of the new Mighty Thor. What's more ridiculous is that it actually evolved to deal area damage. I want to see if the other side can keep pretending longer than him. Thor instantly powered up fully. He's ready to face this new god of thunder. Who is she? It turned out that when Thor was in love with Earth and its simple joys, one drunken night he asked Mjolnir to always protect Jane Foster. He didn't expect that the hammer took this drunken vow seriously. Not long ago, Jane, who had broken up with Thor, was diagnosed with cancer. Medical science had no way to save her, so she followed her instincts to New Asgard. The fragments of Mjolnir in the museum display glowed when she arrived. Jane became the new master of Thor's hammer. At that time, Thor had joined the Guardians of the Galaxy. His heroic heart was reignited by the thrill of adventure. In order to shed some weight, he was fine with using chains to train, lifting stones and even pulling spaceships. Soon, his physique and power returned to their peak. But even with all that, he hadn't met a worthy opponent in ages. That made Thor feel lost. Until one day, Star-Lord came to ask for his help. That's when Thor returned to the battlefield and powered himself up. The enemy couldn't even see him before their spaceship was smashed into pieces in just a few blows. Then, with one leap, Thor landed with commanding presence. In the face of an alien army, Thor unleashed Stormbreaker. In seconds, the shadow creatures were defeated beneath his might. With one final lightning strike, the battle on the other side of the island was over. He crashed into the ground, and even the holy temple of the planet collapsed. The king of Indigar was speechless, but to show his gratitude, he reluctantly gifted Thor 2 giant goats. But just as Thor returned to the spaceship, they received numerous distress signals. One of them was especially tragic. The former vanguard of a divine palace had fallen. Thor didn't hesitate. He bid Star-Lord farewell and decided to split up to save more lives. When Thor reached the snowy mountains at the edge of the galaxy, he found that the guardian of the 9 realms was already dead. Thor, furious, pressed on and soon found an old comrade. The comrade revealed that Gorr the God Butcher was slaughtering gods, and his next target was New Asgard. This godless place. It was just a flat planet, home to ordinary people. One of them, a father, prayed daily to the gods for food and water, but still lost his daughter to starvation. Grieving and desperate, he collapsed beside her. But he kept hearing a strange voice in his head, guiding him. He followed it and found a god. In his fantasy, this god might save everyone. But the god was arrogant and cruel. He not only refused to help, but mocked the father's suffering. Enraged, Gorr was chosen by the Necrosword, which sensed his grief and fury. The sword bonded with him, and Gorr immediately struck down the god. From that day on, he vowed to kill all gods. Now Gorr had silently arrived at New Asgard. He stabbed the Necrosword into the ground, unleashing shadows that spread wildly. Countless shadow monsters emerged. A mysterious female warrior, Valkyrie, charged into battle. Then, Thor arrived via the Bifrost. Here, he reunited with his ex-girlfriend Jane, now wielding Mjolnir as the new Mighty Thor. But before they could catch up, Gorr stepped forward. Thor raised his hand to strike, but Gorr had the power to control divine energy. It was infuriating, but not before abducting all the children of Asgard using the shadows. At this critical moment, the two Thors leapt into action, but still couldn't stop him. Back in Asgard, they discussed a rescue plan. Suddenly, Axel, Heimdall's son, used his spiritual vision to reach across space. Thor focused, and in a blink, his consciousness reached the children, who were trapped in the shadow realm. He realized he wasn't strong enough alone. He needed help from the gods. So Thor went to Omnipotent City to ask Zeus for aid. But when Thor explained the threat, Zeus mocked him and treated Axel dismissively. The goddess next to Zeus was instantly intrigued by Thor. Zeus, with fury, approached Thor, but secretly confessed he feared Gorr too. He explained that Gorr was seeking eternity, a cosmic entity who could grant any wish to the first being who reached him. Zeus feared exposure, so he ordered Thor to be imprisoned. A battle broke out. Thor was impaled by Zeus's lightning bolt. Zeus laughed, until Thor ripped the bolt out and threw it back, seemingly killing him. Thor and his allies escaped with the weapon and headed to the Shadow Realm. But when they arrived, the Asgardian children were gone. Thor found a note left by Gorr, the key to eternity. Stormbreaker could open the gate to eternity. Zeus's lightning bolt was the only weapon powerful enough to stop it. Suddenly, Gorr ambushed them. Thor and Jane were overwhelmed. Gorr threatened Valkyrie's life to get Thor to give up Stormbreaker. As Jane struggled with her worsening cancer, Thor prepared to teleport them out. But Gorr took Stormbreaker with him. Defeated, they returned to Asgard. Thor discovered that Mjolnir was worsening Jane's cancer. He urged her to rest while he promised to save the children. Jane, unafraid, gave him Zeus's lightning bolt. Thor rushed to confront Gorr, who had already begun opening the gate to eternity. The ground shook. A statue collapsed toward the children, but Thor arrived just in time. Gorr summoned his shadow army again. Thor empowered the kidnapped children, giving them temporary thunder powers. These lightning-infused kids destroyed the monsters with ease. But Thor, without Stormbreaker, was no match for Gorr. Just when all hope seemed lost, Mjolnir returned to him. Jane arrived riding a Pegasus. They knew this final battle would cost them dearly, but they didn't hesitate. Though they delayed Gorr, the gate to eternity opened. Gorr was ready to make his wish. Thor didn't fight. He approached Gorr with compassion, choosing love over violence. He embraced Jane in her final moments. The sight reminded Gorr of his daughter. Overwhelmed, he made a new wish, to bring her back. Jane passed away. Gorr, too, died from the sword's corruption, but not before entrusting his daughter to Thor. In the aftermath, Thor began a new life, raising Love, Gorr's daughter, now gifted with cosmic power. Meanwhile, in Omnipotent City, it was revealed Zeus survived. He summoned his son, Hercules, and vowed revenge on Thor.